What's up, family? How's it going, everyone? What's up, my holistic health warriors, my acne sufferers? Welcome in. So I'm excited to get into this chat today. The things I'm going to be talking about are going to be completely contrary to all of the conventional things you've heard about acne, and I'm going to tell you my personal story as well. So it's going to be very interesting. Get yourself a nice cup of tea. We're going to lock in here for probably about an hour. I'm going to share with you my personal story, healing acne, and what I believe is the cause. And like I said, it flies in the face of all conventional advice that we get. Flies in the face of what Google says is the cause of acne, or what your typical doctor would say is the cause of acne. So first and foremost, I am not a medical professional, and this is not medical advice. This is just for entertainment purposes only. I'm just a girl who has studied holistic health for probably more years than any one person should have to. But I had some health issues that I wanted to sort out, and of course the medical industry was not helpful for me, so I hit the books and did a lot of trial and error as well. And so here I am today to share with you what I think is the cause of acne and how I healed my own acne. All right, so acne, of course, it's a huge industry, so they definitely are invested in keeping you thinking that acne is caused by excess sebum or bacteria that gets onto your skin, so they have a lot invested in keeping you believing the false reality about what really causes acne. Like I said in my story, a little bit of spilling the tea ahead of time was really that it doesn't matter what you put on your skin. I truly believe that. Do you guys remember Proactive, the acne solution? My brother was on that for many years. I think I went on it too for a while. And what a huge industry, what an incredibly successful marketing thing that they did, and what an incredible company that they built just on convincing people that all you needed to do to heal acne was to use their 3-step system and put things on your face topically. So I'm a big believer that it doesn't matter what you put on your skin. That's not what's going to heal your acne. And like I said in my story, it doesn't matter how clean your pillowcase is either. It's not caused by bacteria getting into your skin. It's not caused by excess sebum. That's not the story. Healing acne is an inside job. So I'm 40. And I was suffering from adult acne from about, it was like 2013 to about 2018, 2012 to like 2018. So a good 6-7 years that I was really struggling with acne. And at the time I was living in the city. So I was living in Toronto. I had gone through a pretty challenging, huge life shakeup, a big breakup, and a big move to Toronto, to the city. And my acne was so bad. I'm going to show you some pictures in a second, so definitely stick around. So my acne was so painful. I don't know if any of you have suffered from acne, but I couldn't even just put lotion on my face or put anything on my face without it just being painful everywhere. Just the pressure of my fingers, like putting lotion on or something, it was just always painful. Every time I touched my face, just pain. And it's been so incredible these last few years, just being able to touch my face and it not be painful, it not have these erupting, volcano type acne all over the place. So I'm very, very thankful for having found the way and found the information that I needed to find in order to heal my acne. Okay, so I'll show you some of my acne photos. Okay, so you can see here on the left side, this was my acne. So I had very much like red acne. I have a lot of scars that I'm still healing from that time. And in fact, on the left side of the photo, I was vegetarian vegan, like almost totally vegan. And on the right side of the photo is omnivore or mostly carnivore, mostly animal-based foods. So that'll give you a hint into what I'm going to be diving into today. So let's get a close-up on that photo. Oh man. Yeah, so it was very painful and, you know, like very detrimental to your self-esteem. At this time, I was actually studying yoga. This was my second yoga teacher training. I was in Sedona. You can see the red rock behind me. And I was following a traditional Ayurvedic vegetarian diet. You know, and it's like, who would have thought, right? That I would be suffering with such terrible skin. Okay, I'm going to show you some more photos. These are tough for me to share. I'm not going to lie. This one's not so bad. Again, I was in Sedona, and you can see like the acne that I had really like it was so big that it cast a shadow on the other side, you know, and I deleted a lot of photos from this time because, you know, who wants to keep photos of themselves with acne everywhere, just reminding them, you know, of the turmoil they're going through mentally and also just the struggle with your health. Yeah. So again, so I remember actually, I used to always touch up my photos too, like the photos I wanted to keep. I had this app and I was always touching them up. Like, so frustrating, you know, you shouldn't have to live that way. Okay. So the next photo, so this one is, oh man, here we go. So this one, someone snapped this photo of me and I was literally trying to hide. Like you can see these sunglasses that I have on. I was trying to hide behind them. Like, look at this acne. I was vegan at this point, vegan. And here I was with the you know, these super painful pimples. Someone took this photo of me and I remember seeing it then on Facebook later and just like my heart sinking like, oh God, like, wow, I've just been suffering so much from this. And yeah, and it's right front and center, right on your face. And I'm going to talk later about why it's front and center and on your face for everyone to see and what the meaning is behind that. So, all right. So there's proof, you know, that I've truly gone through this and I've truly solved it. So here I am today. Yeah, acne free. I can touch my face and there's no pain. The odd time I will get a pimple, maybe if it's close to my cycle or if I've experienced some stress, you know, it still happens from time to time. I kind of have one a little bit coming right here, but it's like the quality of them is just, it's not like it was. The ones I had were angry. It's like they came up from super deep inside and again, like no doctor could help. At the time I was dating someone whose dad was a doctor for many years, and went for Christmas and my face was all pimply and was talking to him, and already even by that time I had already basically lost most respect for doctors because they don't help. I'm not a big fan of them, and I'm sure there's some out there that are actually trying to do good for humanity, but most of them are just like cruising on their sweet paychecks and not actually trying to learn the truth of what causes chronic disease. But he said to me, like, well, acne is caused by excess sebum and bacteria, so really you should just go on Accutane. It's really easy, that's all you gotta do, just go on Accutane, you know, this kind of attitude, right? And I just remember being like, really, again? Someone who doesn't actually want to learn what the true cause is and like why someone is going through this issue, acne. So again, like I said, it's a very big industry. Yeah, expensive prescriptions, creams, Accutane. Also, doctors put people on antibiotics often too, because it's the erroneous belief that it's caused by bacteria. And if you've learned anything about the germ theory, and if you've been following me for some years, you know that the germ theory is, yeah, it's definitely gone out the window for me. Each and every one of us, I think, has to do our own research in that area to really truly understand it. Or you can go back and look at some of my videos. But yeah, so it's funny, like they'll prescribe antibiotics, and that might help some people in the beginning, but usually it doesn't last. And these people are expected to be on these things forever, to be on antibiotics forever, to help their skin. So it's not a solution. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull this up in the background just for fun. Just keep that there. So I was vegan at the time, on the left-hand side, like I said, and I was living in Toronto, but at the time this photo was taken, I had taken off for a yoga teacher training in Sedona, but for the most part I was living in Toronto, and I was vegan, and before that I was 3 years vegetarian. And I had, during this whole time of going through this breakup that then led me to the city, that then led me to like living on my own and you know, chasing a career in the city, I had been also trying to be vegetarian vegan, because I kind of fell victim to the vegan cult, and you know, I might speak harshly about it, but there is really a lot of goodness behind the vegan movement, of course, but it's misguided. And if you've listened to me in the past, you know that I'll say that as our consciousness rises and as we move into the golden age of consciousness, I don't think that we'll be needing to eat animals at that point in time, and we may not even really be needing to eat much at all. But while we are in this reality where we are constantly inundated with stress, and we have, say, a job and responsibilities, and we live in the matrix, which is inherently, you know, it's very challenging. It's not the way that we're meant to live. We're not meant to be self-sufficient and on our own. We're meant to be, of course, living in a village, sharing the burden of life, and we're just simply not designed to fend for ourselves in the matrix. Of course, some people, they do it and they appear to be doing it quite well, but I think for the vast majority of us, we suffer for it. And so I was trying to be vegan. It was something that I thought would heal my health issues. And because, you know, you get caught up in the propaganda and all of the documentaries and things. And of course it pulls at your heartstrings, of course, because of all the factory farming. And if there's anything that veganism has done, it's brought attention to that factory farming. And so we certainly need to shift our buying practices to smaller farms that are treating the animals better, of course. But I don't believe that a vegan diet is appropriate for someone who lives and works in the matrix. If you are a monk and you meditate in the mountains in a monastery all day, and you don't have bills to pay, you don't have a family, you don't have kids asking you for things, and you know, you having to give your time and attention to, and you're just meditating all day, and you've devoted your life to God, and you don't do a lot of physical work, you don't have a lot of stress. I think in those circumstances, people can get away with veganism and vegetarian diets, but when you live in the matrix, and you're living in perhaps a high stress world like a city, and you've been through, maybe you're coming into adulthood. Many people who experience adult acne are, you know, in the ranges of like 25 to 40, and you know, it's a coming of age, coming into adulthood, and you're having a lot of extra stress that is then presenting on your face. And so here I was eating lots of vegetables, and I was, you know, and people say, oh, well, you must not have done veganism right if it wasn't working for you. And it's like, no, I was absolutely doing it right. I was spending unbelievable amounts of time cooking, chopping, shopping, and just chopping up like 17 ingredient power bowls. And I wasn't relying on soy very much, just the odd bit here and there, and usually it was like the tempeh, like the fermented soy, and you know, avoiding a lot of the fake meats and stuff. And still I was experiencing acne. So essentially, like, what caused my acne was stress and emotional stress, as well as not having a supportive diet. Again, veganism. Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride talks about how veganism can be like a fast. And really, I would have to agree with her that it is like a fast. You're eating vegetables, beans, quinoa, trying to get your protein in different areas. But, the protein from plants and things, it's not as available for our body to assimilate and to then construct our own body with. So it's that much harder to get on with a vegan diet. So it's like a fast. And when you have a lot of stress, then you need to have support in your diet. You need to have supportive foods. So for me, when I came out of veganism, I was just listening to my body. I was very hungry, and I just started listening. And one of the first things that I went to was goat milk. And to this day, I believe goat milk pretty much saved my life. And it was the number one thing that really healed my acne. And I'll get into more about why that is. So initially, I started to drink goat milk. And if any of you know nutrition, milk is really great because it is a protein, a carb, and a fat all in one food. So it's like a perfect food. And milk is also known to be very anti-stress. It helps lower our stress in so many different ways. Probably too many to list here in this live, but food is anti-stress, especially food with saturated fat from animal-based sources. And so there's really no shame in needing to have the nutrition from animal-based foods during this time in human consciousness. And if it helps you to lower your stress and be more healthy, then that's what you need to do. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So saturated fat, I noticed, so as I came out of veganism, like I said, goat milk, and then I quickly went to red meat. And I remember, I think it was like a week after I had started eating red meat more regularly, I just noticed such a difference in my ability to handle stress and handle a bit of anxiety. I just was more steady. I was more like a rock. And I just had more of an ability to handle daily stress. Whereas previously, when that big chunk of years, 3 years vegetarian, 2 years vegan, I noticed, like gradually over time, my ability to handle stress just went down and down. And so essentially, if I can distill it down into what is the cause of acne, it is high amounts of stress and not having a supportive enough diet. So it's twofold, because when your diet becomes more supportive, then it can lower your stress. And when you begin to lower your stress through mindful practices like meditation or yoga, or doing more self-reflection, or maybe changing something in your life that needs to change to lower your stress, then your nutritional needs decrease a little bit too. And then you find a bit of homeostasis. So again, if I can distill it down, acne is caused by stress. And it is exasperated by having a diet that is not nutrient dense, that is not supportive in nutrition. So that's why, as a vegan, I was struggling so much. So I made this quick little pie chart to kind of show you. So what is the cause of acne? So looking at it in a pie chart is a little bit more revealing. So stress, I didn't change the numbers on the side. We'll just look at the pie chart. So stress, I would say, is about 70%, whereas diet is about 30 to 29% of the issue. And then I gave a little 1% for what you put on your face, which really is inconsequential for the most part. So truly, the stress component is the biggest component, because when we are stressed, our body is pumping out stress hormones. Something in our life is causing us to have anxiety. And this is a natural, normal mechanism that our body has. As you've heard many times before, I'm sure we have the fight or flight response, and that's a natural response. It's a necessary response that is on board that helps us deal with danger and with immediate threats. But in our modern world, we're not really faced with like immediate threats for a short amount of time. It's always this sort of ongoing threat of, economic survival. But say in caveman times, if we were to come across a bear, a tiger, something that could take our life, it does all of these physiological things in the moment to help you survive. Like even down to like your eyes dilate, the hair stands on end, you get like hyper aware and hyper vigilant. Your hip flexors fire up in order to be able to run. Your digestion stops, because why would there be energy going towards your digestion if you're in fight or flight and you're about to run away from this tiger or this bear? So this is a mechanism that's on board for a reason. To get out of that immediate danger and then be away from danger in safety, in the safety of your home, and then to go into rest or digest, which is when we can relax enough and shift into parasympathetic nervous system in order to then digest our food properly. But of course, here we are in the modern world and we don't have threats like that anymore. It's just ongoing threats, like the deadline for the boss at work, economic stress, just stress of survival. Like I said, we're not designed to be self-sufficient. We're meant to be living in a tribe, in a village, and sharing the burden of life. So when someone has acne presenting on their face, I always brought this up as such an interesting point. You see, like acne, it doesn't show up on your legs. It doesn't show up necessarily on your stomach, right? Some people get chest acne or back acne and whatever, but for the most part, it comes up, it's on your face for everyone to see. And there's a reason for that. So think about that for 1 second. Why would acne just like show up on our face and be this thing that everybody sees? Why? Why would Mother Nature do that? Because it shows our tribe members that we're struggling. It's a very obvious sign, like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? Like, I can see your skin is like exploded. Like, oh my goodness, how can I help you? Tell me how I can carry the burden for you. Tell me how I can help you. Because we're not meant to be these individual people being so completely self-sufficient, but that's the expectations on everyone. And so for those that are experiencing acne, I just want you to know that, you don't have to feel embarrassed about having acne, and I know that's the immediate thing we do, though, is we want to hide and we want to cover it up with makeup and so on. But there's really nothing to be ashamed of. It's stress manifested. And like I said, your tribe members are meant to see that and meant to, give you a helping hand and say, let me help you carry the burden. So again, acne is caused by a huge cascade of stress hormones. And then by not having a supportive enough diet, we can't clear the stress hormones and the daily toxicity that we are always inundated by, and it gets backed up. So your body gets backed up with all these stress hormones that it can't clear enough, because again, we're meant to just have acute stress, like from time to time, immediate mortal stress, and then be away from that danger and that threat, and then relax into parasympathetic nervous system and rest and digest. But like I said, in our daily life, we don't get a break from that. So when you don't have a supportive diet, you've got high stress, your body is pumping out these stress hormones, and the nutrition from your diet is not sufficient enough to help you with the daily detoxing that we have every day, because we are inundated all day long with chemtrails, with smog and pollution, Teflon pans, processed food, the crap that's in our food. Like, you don't need me to list these things off, right? We're inundated all the time. Even if you use all natural products, but you walk into somewhere and someone's got perfume on, or you walk down the cleaning aisle at the grocery store, like you're inundated with it too, And so our body needs to detox these daily toxins all the time. And when you don't have a supportive enough diet with like fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K particularly, then your body's going to back up. Like your liver's going to be overburdened trying to neutralize all the stress hormones every day, and then all the detoxing that it needs to do too. And so instead of so basically the skin is like a last ditch effort to get rid of toxicity. And it's also, like I said, a signal. Mother Nature doesn't make mistakes. It's a signal to your tribe members that you're suffering, and like I said, it's very embarrassing to show the world that you have acne, right? But like I said, you don't need to be embarrassed, because we're meant to live together in tribe, and they're meant to help carry the burden. But just to summarize, high stress, not a supportive enough diet, causes a backup of all the stress and the detoxing. Your body ends up expelling it through the skin. It's kind of its last ditch effort. So we detox through obviously the colon and our feces, right? We detox a lot through our breath. I don't think people realize quite how much our exhales is part of our detox, and our skin. And some of you might be like, urine too, but it's not really, that's kind of a talk for a different time, but your urine is more like the neutralized, metabolized things that we come across. It's, our urine is our blood filtered. So it's not necessarily a way that we detox. Our skin is actually one of the biggest detox organs that we have. So put any questions in the comments that you might have about this, about acne, about this topic, or anything else. But yeah, like I said, doctors Google, they'll say acne is caused by excess sebum and bacteria on the skin, and you should make sure to clean your pillowcase all the time, right? And that's not the case. I mean, I don't even wash my skin anymore. Like I use a warm washcloth at night, warm to hot washcloth at night. I don't use any cleanser on my skin. Like on my body, I use tallow soap, which I really like, or like goat's milk soap. But yeah, and then we'll go into like topical stuff in a little bit, but I just want to go over a little bit more about goat milk, which I mentioned before. So if someone were to come to me and they had really bad acne and they said, okay, give it to me straight, Amy, I heard that you healed acne and I want to know how I can heal my acne. I would say, first of all, stress. Like I just showed you the pie chart, stress is the biggest piece of the pie. So firstly, you'd have to take a really good hard look at your life and ask yourself, what am I allowing in my life that is causing me untold amounts of stress, to the point where it is showing up on my skin as acne? So do you need to change jobs? Potentially. Do you need to ask for help from family? Do you need to end the relationship that you're in? Maybe your relationship is causing you the stress. Do you need to move? Sometimes, like I did, I left the city, and I don't know what I was even doing in the city because I'm a country girl. But yeah, sometimes you need to move. Sometimes you need to make these big life changes. Anything you can do to reduce your stress. Now, if that person said, look, I can't change anything, then I would say, okay, well, you have to add yoga and meditation or some kind of modality that helps you relax. For some people, that's different, right? I think even just your typical working out, going to the gym, lifting weights can be very helpful in letting off steam and reducing stress. Because when you're lifting weights and you're working to exhaustion, I'm not sure exactly, it's not coming to me exactly in this moment, like exactly the mechanism for how that works, but we all know it does reduce stress. it kind of brings you back into your body instead of being in your head. And when you can work to exhaustion and you can go to sleep at night just like exhausted, like it's a good thing. It keeps you from ruminating in your mind and causing more stress for yourself. So another thing I would say is working out. Maybe for some people it's dancing. Dancing is an incredible way to let off steam. I love it. I always recommend it. And then, some kind of mindful practice, whether it's meditation or yoga, and doing a lot of self-reflecting as well, and saying, how can I change my perspective on what's happening? Because, we all do have money stress. Well, most of us. And if we can sort of shift our perspective around it, then we can lower our stress and maybe see things from a more zoomed out perspective. So the first thing I would say to that person is you've got to reduce stress. And the self-reflection, the zoomed out perspective can be very helpful. So working with a coach can be great, going to a therapist, or just, sitting with yourself and asking the right questions, taking time to really dig in and self-reflect. And then the next thing I would say is to make sure they're getting a supportive diet filled with saturated fats from animal-based foods. So like I said, goat milk was super duper helpful for me. And one of the things I did very early on as well, when I was coming out of veganism, was butter. So I started adding butter because I learned about the vitamin E and the butyric acid in butter. And isn't that so contrary to what we've heard? It's like if someone said, I healed my acne by eating lots of butter. Most people would be like, what? No, we're supposed to eat margarine. That's what they say. That's heart healthy, right? Butter causes cholesterol, right? So that wouldn't be good to do. But these... I can't believe it's still not common knowledge, but a lot of those studies or that claim from back in the day saying that saturated fat caused heart disease has been debunked. But that has been so ingrained in the population that not everyone has even heard that bit of new study yet, and still people across the board. It's just such a ingrained thing where people go to their doctor and they get their cholesterol levels checked. And even though that science has now been debunked, that saturated fat causes heart disease, it's not the case. It's actually the reverse, in my opinion. So because the polyunsaturated fats in margarine is, it causes estrogen-like symptoms in your body. It has a detrimental effect on your thyroid. And your metabolism, and it kind of opposes progesterone too. So again, like it's creating an estrogen-like effect in your body, and it's just adding to the burden of your stress hormones. So it's, and as a vegan, you're typically eating a lot of polyunsaturated fats. Even if you're not directly eating seed oils, you're probably having like almond butter and peanut butter and what else? Eat like nuts. They're all polyunsaturated fats. And when you have saturated fats, it kind of like can displace, when you have a lot of saturated fats in your diet, it can displace a lot of the polyunsaturated fats. So butter. That was also one of the big things. So I'm going to say goat milk and butter are super high up on the totem pole for what helped me heal my acne. And there's even a raw goat milk cleanse. What do you call it? A fast. A raw goat milk fast that I did, I think 3 or 4 days of once. It was really interesting. But I have a friend who did quite a few days. I can't remember. It was probably more like almost 10 days raw goat milk fast. And it's one of the more easiest fasts because, again, milk is a complete food. It's a protein, a fat, a carb. It's very nourishing and anti-stress. And especially goat milk has so many nutrients. So I'll go over a little bit of that with you now. So don't be afraid of saturated fats. Remember that. So, and yes, so it has a calming effect too. Okay, goat milk, sorry. Fat soluble vitamins, right? So the A, D, E, and K, very, very helpful for your skin. And essentially, like, these vitamins are very helpful for your liver to detox. And like I said, cause of acne is high stress and not a supportive diet that helps support ongoing detox. So then once you add in things like butter, super high in vitamin E, again, all the fat-soluble vitamins, butyric acid, other good things in there too. Goat milk, same thing, including even more incredible compounds. Now your body has a better ability to detox, and therefore your skin clears up. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, just healing with food. So yeah, and I'll tell you, I used to have a raw goat milk hookup, and he moved away. He moved away way up north in Ontario, and anyway, so I'm on the lookout. But it still wouldn't stop me from buying pasteurized goat milk, because it's still highly nutritious food, very supportive if you're trying to heal your acne. So, okay, easier to digest than cow's milk. So goat's milk is A2 type of casein protein, which is easier for most people to digest. It's actually closer to breast milk. Goat milk, it's the closest thing to breast milk. So most people can digest it quite well. That's also why it ends up in formula sometimes. And yeah, for people that drink milk, like a little aside, some people drink milk like cow's milk and they're like, oh, it makes me phlegmy and kind of irritated. And I'll just say this. Some people can say that they're like allergic to milk, but actually it's that their gut is not well. It's that they have an inflamed gut, and the inflamed gut could be caused by eating gluten and having high stress as well. And so those two things together can create a sensitivity to milk. And but sometimes if you clear up the gluten, which, you know, as Barbara O'Neill says, you have to have an iron gut to be able to digest gluten, especially the gluten from North America that has been hybridized and changed so much, and the glyphosate, and it's just changed so much from what it originally was that it's just so very hard to digest. So just a little something to think about. If you're like, oh no, I couldn't do dairy, you know, it doesn't work for me, well, you should definitely try goat's milk. And if you are of European descent, likely dairy is going to be okay for you. My ancestors are French Canadian and also Eastern European, Hungarian. And I read that Hungarians were often sheep farmers. And so I knew, like, when I was coming out of veganism, I was like, well, what foods can I eat that are going to be good for me, you know? And milk, you know, I know that my ancestors, they went through winters drinking milk and drinking butter, cheese, and all the rest. So if you are European, you probably can digest milk. And if you're still like, no, then try goat's milk. It is a different kind of protein, much easier to digest. So it also has medium chain fatty acids and caprylic acid. Really great for skin, for health, supporting the liver again, so supporting detox. Also has lysine, which improves calcium absorption, collagen production, great for your skin, right? Lean muscle maintenance, reduces cortisol, so it gives you a calmer mood. Again, food is anti-stress. And if you can utilize food to bring down your stress to then heal your acne, then absolutely do that. It aids metabolism, so that means it lowers estrogen too. Lysine, the lysine in goat's milk. And prebiotic oligosaccharides, great for your gut. Bioactive peptides, great for your gut. And so, and there's more, there's other compounds in goat's milk. But, you know, that abundance of A, D, E, and K, I think it makes it incredible superfood. And so again, hearing someone say, oh, dairy healed my skin. It's like, wow. Most people would just totally scoff at that and say that's impossible, because dairy is, you know, what do people say? Like, it's mucus causing, and it's, you know, or like when someone says butter too, right? It's like, oh, well, you don't want to have more grease on your skin. Why would you eat butter to heal your acne? Like, you know, most people, they have a skewed understanding of how nutrition works and the body works and so on. And we've also been all inundated. It's less now, but you've probably noticed we've been inundated with the vegan, vegetarian narrative over the last few years. And so, like I said, I caught that wave, and I tried it for a good 5, 6, 7 years. 2 years vegan, and before that always inching towards vegetarian. And like I said, that was the period of time when my health was at its worst and my skin was at its worst as well. So yeah, so goat's milk, butter, steak, all of these things are very supportive of mood and lowering stress. And I'll just say again, like you've heard me say before, these times that we're in, the Kali Yuga, it makes sense that we'd be in such a dense consciousness, in such stressful states, living in the matrix, all the expectations on humanity, so on and so forth, to be self-sufficient, etc., etc. It makes sense that we would eat the animals during this time. But, you know, when our consciousness rises and we end up and find ourselves in the golden age at some point, it makes a lot of sense to me that we would at that point not need to eat very much at all, and certainly not the animals, you know. But these are the times we live in. We are not monks meditating in a monastery all day long and not having any matrix, real world stresses. You know, like I said, that kind of diet could probably work for monks meditating in a monastery all day. But we are in the world, and, you know, we have stresses, and it's certainly our responsibility to work on our stress response and how we respond to different things in life. But yeah, acne is a result of stress and an unsupportive diet. Like I said, when I was highly stressed, I was vegan. And then I moved away from the city, removed certain stresses in my life, and started to refeed, as I say, with animal-based foods. And one of them was goat milk. And like I said, I even had a raw milk hookup. I had a raw cow's milk hookup for a while, and a raw goat's milk hookup for a while, and both of them, one of them sold their cow, the other one moved away. So if you know someone in the local area, guys, please let me know, because I'm definitely down for the highest quality food that I can get, especially when it does such great things for your skin. So let's go over a little bit of topical stuff before we finish this live tonight. So yeah, like I said, it really doesn't matter what you put on your skin. It honestly doesn't. And let me tell you, when you're someone walking around with acne, okay, and someone says to you, oh, like, you know, they might not even, like, you might not even ask for their opinion, but they'll tell you, oh, there's this cream that I used that was really good and it really helped me, and, you know, maybe it would help you. You know, people just offer up like, oh, my cousin, she uses this cream from this company and it's kind of expensive, but I think it's really good and maybe you should try it, you know? And like, people are trying to help, you know, which is really sweet and wonderful, of course. But yeah, like the things we put on our skin, it really has negligible effects. Okay, so like I said, I don't wash my face anymore. Like, just at the end of the day, I will use a warm to hot face cloth on my skin just to get rid of oil and makeup. And then I'll usually put on one of 2 or 3 things. One is tallow. So I love tallow. The one that I love the most, and I don't have an affiliate code for you, but They do have a really good deal if you buy 4 tins. It's the Tallowed Truth on Instagram, and the product is called F-Bomb, and it has tallow in it, honey, olive oil, and frankincense. I think that's it. And all of those things are very supportive to the skin, and it's honestly so nice. It's really good for the wintertime. It's a little bit thicker than your typical moisturizer, but I highly recommend it. And it is a Canadian company, and they're awesome. They were truthers during the whole 2020 era as well, which is really cool. So definitely support the Tallowed Truth. Love tallow. You definitely want to avoid skincare stuff that has like a lot of fragrances in it. That stuff is just not good for you. And you're putting it on your face like really close to your lymph nodes, and just avoid anything with like unnatural scents. Like the amount of fragrances in this world, it just does a number on me. I'm definitely one of those people who like, I'll run away if you use like spray deodorant around me or like hairspray or something. I'll just be there 1 minute and I'll be gone the next. So what else? There is a product I use from Amanda Vollmer, which is really great. It's called Facelift in a Jar, and it has DMSO in it. And why they call it facelift is because the DMSO has this sort of tingling feeling that sort of feels like your skin sort of like tightens up a bit. And DMSO is really a medicine as well. So it's like you're putting on medicine every day, and sometimes people will find that their sinuses clear up, which is really great, because you're putting it here, and I'll also put it here, which is on your lymph nodes and your thyroid and everything. So it's really beneficial. It's a medicine, and it does have an effect on acne scarring and like dark spots and stuff like that. So I do highly recommend that product. It is very expensive though, not gonna lie. I think it's like $100 for about 4 ounces, but you can make that last a long time. But that's 100 Canadian for 4 ounces, and that's including taxes and shipping. So that's pretty good. That's on Amanda Vollmer's site, dmso.store. You do have to become a member because she operates in the private, so she requires everyone to just sign a couple documents. It's really quick, and then you can purchase from her, and you can purchase DMSO, which you need to learn how to use. But she mixes it in her products for you, so they're easy to use. Yeah, but that's for another live stream talking about DMSO. And then one of the other things you can do that's totally free and that everyone has access to is PP therapy. So urine therapy, a lot of people get really squeamish and they're like, what? Oh my God, no. But it is a very legit therapy. People have brought themselves back from the brink of death utilizing urine therapy. So it's really important to just kind of get over yourself and get over like any squeamishness you have about it. It is something your body makes, and it's not something to be afraid of. And in fact, some companies will actually utilize the urea in urine and put it in their products. Like there are products on the shelf that maybe you even use that has urea in it, because urea is an incredible moisturizer. It's able to get into the skin mantle deeper than any lipid that you could put on your skin. So any fat, like shea butter, tallow, vitamin E, rosehip oil, all the fats, right? Like urea has an ability to go in deeper, and it'll make your skin very, very, very soft. So like if you're someone, let's say you're dealing with like very painful acne that is like, excuse me if this gets gross, but like that's weeping, that's like pustules that are, always broken skin, and it's very painful for you to even like put a hat on or just to live a normal life. Something that's very, very, very effective is urine therapy. So you can just put on what they're called urine packs. Let's say you have a spot on your skin that is like extremely painful. It's also good for eczema and psoriasis and all those things too. And you just soak it and place it on, and then overnight you could like put tape over it to keep it in place, and you would be absolutely blown away by how quick your skin heals with your own perfect medicine, PP therapy. So we'll have to talk about that more in another live. But again, most people are very squeamish about that kind of thing, but until you really look into it, you'll remain in the dark about how your body works and about these remedies that we have that are available to us at any time. So maybe I'll have to do a live, maybe that one will have to be like behind a paywall on my private community. Because like I said, like it's one of the most interesting healing modalities out there. Like I said, people have come back from the brink of death, have utilized this therapy, literally thrown away by the medical industry. They've said, you don't have long to live, we can't help you. And here they are, thriving to this day, utilizing that therapy. So that's just something to keep in mind, something to not discount, right? It's free. Everybody has access to it. But again, that's not going to be the thing that's going to, like, just dabbing it on your skin and that's good. It's going to help, but lowering your stress is number one. Absolutely number one thing to do. So lower your stress. Make sure you're having a diet that is very, very nutrient dense, as in lots of nutrition from saturated fats, from animal-based nutrition, all of the vitamins that come with those types of foods, like I said, A, D, E, and K, calcium, selenium. These things are going to, it's going to be the thing that's going to help you relax. Number one, it's going to support your liver in your daily detoxing. And it's going to help you clear those stress hormones. So basically the most dangerous combination is to have a high stress lifestyle like I did, living in the city, and then be vegan. 0 out of 10 recommend. That combination right there, you're going to have acne. If you're highly stressed, emotional, and not eating a nutrient-dense diet. So, to summarize, goat milk, amazing, 10 out of 10. Butter, amazing, 10 out of 10. I remember I was finding the most highest quality butter, and I suggest you do the same. I find a lot of butter these days tends to be very hard and like whitish. Like butter at room temperature should be spreadable. But what I've been finding with butter is that it's like very hard and kind of whitish. And I have a feeling that some of these companies are cutting it with seed oils. So try your best. Like, I know, guys, life is so expensive, but try your best to invest in gold bars and find the yellowest, highest quality butter that you can. And that's going to be medicine for you. At the time I was doing bulletproof diet, which is where Dave Asprey, he says, blend your coffee with butter. And I don't drink coffee anymore, but if you do, that's fine. Try blending butter with your coffee, nothing else, no sugar, no cream, just butter. And you're going to be getting nice doses of those vitamins and helping out your skin. Good stuff, guys. Thank you for your comments. And yeah, if you have any further questions, definitely private message me. But just know that healing acne is totally possible. You don't have to be on all of those medications that the doctors put you on when they themselves don't even know the real cause of acne. So again, lowering your stress, emotional, economic stress, talking it out with someone, doing your very best, adding in mindfulness practices, yoga, meditation, and having a supportive diet. Don't be afraid of animal-based foods. They are not the enemy that they've been made out to be. So I would say goat milk and butter, number 2 things that help me clear my skin. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I gotta go, but make sure, a couple things to mention. You can always find me on my locals page. I'm doing lives on Instagram at least until Christmas, and then I'm going to be moving over more to locals and putting more of my content there. It's only $9 a month if you want to join. If you just want to check things out, then just click the link in my bio and click follow. That way you'll get some of my content for free. And also, I'm going to be hosting a 29-day New Year's challenge this 2026 January. We're going to go from the full moon to the full moon. So January 3rd, full wolf moon, to February 1st, the full snow moon. And we're going to be integrating all kinds of great habits and things like daily yoga. But they're going to be very easy to add on. It's not going to be very long in duration. So like 10 minutes of meditation, 10 to 20 minutes of yoga a day, a 20-minute walk, reading 10 pages, observing sunrise and sunset, and a few other things sprinkled in there to make things really fun. But it's very doable, and I'm very excited to start and to welcome some of you guys into it. So it's totally free. All you got to do is click the link in my bio, go to my Gumroad page, and download your score sheets and the instructions so that you can get prepared for January 2026 and the 29-day Sacred Winter Full Wolf Moon Challenge. All right, guys, thank you for sticking it out with me. This will be saved to my profile, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.